Pokemon-minded, Cyril Gunner. 20 years ago, we're not doing this. Okay, we stop. Okay, I have one page. I can't do without the page. I have one page. Okay. In season 11, in Curb Your Enthusiasm, there's an episode where one of the friends of Larry David wants to see his memorial while he is alive. So all his friends are gathered, and he's on his bed, from the comfort of his room, he's watching his own memorial. And everyone is giving a eulogy. And I came here with that sense today, to hear my own eulogy. But I have to tell you that that's not how I'm feeling. I'm feeling very touched, very grateful, and very emotional. The speeches, and especially this video, it recapped a journey that we walked together. Now, by show of hands, how many of you have been doing the same thing that you've done as professionals for 20 years? Most of you. All of you, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Why do we pick the Der Hayat and we gather to celebrate the Der Hayat's anniversary? I don't like anniversaries, to be frank with you, but I would like to look at this as something that we come together. It is a celebration of the community. We walk together, and I'm honored that you allow me to walk with you. So I have a word of gratitude. I would like to thank the two Sarpazans, the former and the current prelates, Oshagan Sarpazan and Anushavan Sarpazan. And let me just tell you that Anushavan Sarpazan, his original plans was not to stay today in Lebanon, and tonight, I believe it's either tonight or tomorrow. Our Vehaba is celebrating his 30th anniversary tomorrow. And his plans was not to stay for the celebration, but to come here. Unfortunately, because of the political situation there, his flight was canceled, and he texted me this morning, so he couldn't come. So my words of gratitude to both Sarpazans. My word of gratitude to BOT chairs for the past 20 years. To everyone who has been involved in the Board of Trustees, to every auxiliary body, to our deacons, choir members, everyone who served on the altar, the Ladies Guild, the Saturday School, the Sunday School, Salt and Light, Sages of Ages, basketball, dance, ping pong, senior citizens, every auxiliary that we have or we have ever had. My words of gratitude and my special thank you to everyone who has done anything, big or small, to this church. Whether you are a parishioner, whether you are a friend, whether you are a volunteer, I'm grateful because we continue to build this church together. I would like to thank the committee members and everyone who organized this event today. I didn't want this celebration, but it turned out to be a beautiful celebration, and I'm really, really grateful for this. So we have people who came from near and far. Thank you very, very much for coming. We have people who came from Bayside, Little Neck. Thank you. Thank you. We have some Canadians who came. Canadians are locals now. Okay, that doesn't count. We have Kev who came. I mean, Kev, I was a fan from the days of Focus Number 1. Thank you for being here. My aunt's two uncles, Saki Samo, who is the godfather at my ordination, and Hari Elia, who has been the Abahai for the Mojitaris community in Venice, they are here. They came specially for this. I'm really grateful. Okay. Ani, I'd like you to come here. So, everything that you saw in the video, everything that we have experienced together for the past 20 years, as your pastor, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Ani. And I say this because she is the one who actually told me while we were dating, she said, I think you should become a dad. I was still thinking, and if it wasn't for her, probably I still would be thinking. But sometimes you need people to make the decisions, but it was not an abrupt decision that she made. She walked the walk with me. We walked this journey together, and without you, nothing here that I've ever achieved would have been possible. So, please stay. Why do I have to be the only person who's uncomfortable here? They're at the cross with me. So, if I were to summarize my journey for the past 20 years, I could sum it up in one word, or two words rather. Pastoral presence. That's what I try to do. And if I was successful, it is because of you. If I failed, I'm human. And I would like to conclude my remarks with something that I would consider to be pastoral. So, growing up, geometry was not a topic that I enjoyed. That's why I became a dancer, right? No, that's not true. I became a dancer because I don't like to dance. That's the first story. So, the word parallel, it didn't make sense to me at all. Two parallel lines, they can, run together but never meet. And I'm like, okay, so what? But then in the early 90s, I was introduced to the music of, not Metallica, I'm not going to talk about that, I spoke enough about them. About a Canadian artist, a singer-songwriter. Her name is Lorena McKennitt. Some of you might know her. And, yeah, Canadians, right? And she had an album. The album was Parallel Dreams. A very inspiring piece of music. And in there, I learned that the personal experience and the mystical experience can run in parallels. And that idea made me look at life differently. Something that I've kept with me for all these years. So, a few weeks ago when Dr. Louisa conducted the interview with me, it was a moment for me to reflect and think about what happened. But I also looked at the history of our church, Soupsakis Church. So there was something that was very interesting. The church was burned. The new church was constructed here. Some of you were very much involved in that process. If you weren't involved, your parents were involved. This church was built, and this church stays because there's so much love and tears and sweat that was put into creating this place. So in the early 90s, although this community had a church, although the structure was sound, but there was so much financial difficulties that this community was going through, even to a point where the feasibility of keeping the church and being able to pay the mortgage was something that was, questionable. And I reflected on my personal life. And what I'm going to say next may sound very narcissistic, but please, that's not my intention. Stay with me. Don't judge me as a narcissist yet. Not yet. So, reflecting on my personal life, I went back and I saw that in the early 90s, 93 was actually the time that I left my hometown and I became a seminarian. So while this community was struggling and finding the way to move forward, somewhere very remote, God was working with a little town boy and leading the path of that boy to the seminary, so that one day there will be some kind of connection and coming together. I mean, this is like a marriage. I've been part of this church longer than I've been with Ani. Well, my journey started here in early 2000s. So I saw that there was an invisible, divine guidance that maybe everything, that brings everything together. And I'm saying this, hoping to invite you to reflect on your own lives. Each one of us, when we reflect and go back and see what happened to us, how did we get here, we will see that there were times that could be, simple as you might look at it and say it was just an happenstance. But it wasn't. It was God working through you, God working with you to make you the person who you are today. I would like to conclude by saying that God is holy and God invites us to have a relationship. And when we have a relationship with the holy constantly, we are purified. We become better people. And as a result, there's a desire in our hearts to worship Him and be more like Him. So, let's continue worshiping together. I love you.
Amen.